The tech world is currently in a state of shock. Just as we were getting used to the sheer power of the M4, Apple is preparing to drop a nuclear bomb on the compact desktop market. We are talking about the M5 Mac Mini. This isn't just a spec bump, it is a fundamental shift in how much power we can fit into a 5-inch box. Rumors from the supply chain suggest that the M5 is about to make the Mac Studio look like an overpriced paperweight. Today on Tech Vibe, we're breaking down the exclusive leaks, the benchmark targets, and why you might want to cancel that M4 order immediately. Let's get straight into the heart of the beast, the M5 Silicon. According to the latest data coming out of TSMC, Apple is utilizing an enhanced 3-nanometer process known as N3P. Now, for the non-technical crowd, what that means is simple: more transistors, less heat, and significantly more speed. While the M4 was a massive leap, the M5 is focusing on something Apple calls neural acceleration. We're looking at a 10-core CPU as the baseline, but the real story is in the GPU. Reports indicate a staggering 45% boost in graphics performance. This isn't just for gamers, this is for the video editors, the 3D architects, and the AI developers who thought they needed a $3,000 Mac Studio to get their work done. The Mac Mini has always been the value king, but with the M5, Apple is blurring the lines between consumer and professional gear. The M5 Pro variant is rumored to support up to 64 GB of unified memory. Imagine that, a desktop that fits in the palm of your hand, running 64 gigs of RAM with Thunderbolt 5 speeds. This puts the Mac Mini M5 in a position where it can comfortably handle 8K ProRes video editing without breaking a sweat. If you're a creator looking for a clean, minimalist setup that doesn't sacrifice power, this is the hardware you've been waiting for. But why now? Why is Apple pushing the M5 so quickly after the M4 redesign? The answer is Apple Intelligence. The 2026 roadmap is entirely focused on on-device AI. The M5's neural engine is expected to be nearly 30% faster than its predecessor, specifically designed to handle the upcoming Apple Creator Studio suite. We're talking about real-time generative video editing and local LLMs that run without needing a cloud connection. For the privacy-conscious professional, this makes the M5 Mac Mini the only logical choice. Now, let's talk about the design. If you were hoping for another radical change, you might be disappointed, but for a good reason. Apple just gave us the 5x5-inch redesign with the M4. The M5 will stick to this ultra-compact chassis. Why? Because it works. The thermal architecture introduced last year is so efficient that it can actually handle the increased clock speeds of the M5 without needing a larger fan. You're getting the same sleek, silver footprint that fits under any monitor, but with the internal heart of a workstation. Connectivity is where the Pro version of the M5 Mac Mini will truly shine. We are expecting a move to Thunderbolt 5 across the Pro line, offering up to 120 gigabits per second of bandwidth. This is a game changer for anyone using high-speed external RAID arrays or multiple 6K displays. The base M5 will likely stick with Thunderbolt 4, which is still plenty for 90% of users, but that Pro model is looking like a legitimate threat to the Mac Pro itself. Let's talk money and timing, because this is where it gets interesting for your wallet. Apple usually follows a very specific release cadence. With the M5 MacBook Pros launching in early 2026, the Mac Mini M5 is currently slated for a spring 2026 release, most likely between March and May. The best part? Despite the massive performance gains, analysts are predicting that Apple will hold the price line. We're looking at a starting price of $599 for the base model. When you consider that this machine will likely outperform a $2,000 Intel-based PC from just 2 years ago, the value proposition is almost unbeatable. However, there is a catch that most tech insiders are only just starting to whisper about: the RAM situation. While the base model is expected to start at 16 GB, finally killing off the 8 GB era, the cost of upgrading that unified memory at the time of purchase remains high. If you're planning to use this for professional work, you need to budget for those upgrades early, because as we all know, there is no buying more RAM later with Apple Silicon. So, the million-dollar case. Tie-in, should you wait? If you are currently on an Intel Mac or even a base M1, the jump to the M5 will feel like moving from a bicycle to a rocket ship. The architectural gains in the M5, specifically for AI and GPU tasks, make it a much more future-proof investment than the M4. We are entering the age of AI-integrated OS features, and the M5 is the first chip truly built with that as the primary focus. But wait, there's one more thing. The leaked packaging technology known as SOSEMH. This is a fancy way of saying Apple is vertically stacking components inside the chip. This allows for even faster communication between the CPU and GPU. If these leaks are accurate, the M5 Mac Mini won't just be faster, it will be more responsive. That instant-on feel we love about Mac will be taken to a level where there is zero perceived latency, even in heavy apps like Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro. Think about the implications of having a dedicated AI engine that can upscale your old footage to 4K in real time, or a GPU that can handle path-traced gaming in a device that draws less power than a light bulb. This isn't just an evolution, it's the peak of Apple's silicon strategy. The M5 is where all the promises of the last 5 years finally meet the reality of professional-grade performance in a consumer-grade body. It's the machine that makes you realize you don't need a giant tower sitting under your desk anymore. The efficiency of the N3P process means that even under heavy load, you won't hear a fan whine, and you won't feel the heat radiating across your desk. It is the ultimate invisible powerhouse. The M5 Mac Mini is shaping up to be the most important desktop Apple has ever released. It's small, it's quiet, and it's faster than most people can even imagine. But I want to hear from you. Are you planning to wait for the M5, or is the current M4 price point too good to pass up? Let me know in the comments below, I read every single one. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Tech Vibe for the latest in pro tech news. Apple is clearly playing for keeps with the M5 generation. By the time this drops in the spring, the desktop market is going to look very different. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure you've turned on notifications for Tech Vibe. Thanks for watching, stay tech savvy, and I'll see you in the next one.